How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to City Skylines. Welcome back to the green power scenario. I hope you're having a good one because I am excited to be back. And I'm also going to be curious to see if this video actually records, because as I'm recording my audio, the game, and my video for the camera, my PC is also duplicating and copying about 1 terabyte of files from my recording drive, where all of those things are being recorded to right now, onto a network drive. Because as it turns out, I've had about 5 terabytes of videos from the last 6 years just sat on a hard drive, and it recently filled up and I had to throw out. I don't know what I was recording, but it doesn't matter. The point being, it'll be a miracle if we get through this one. Anyway, between episodes, I decided to go ahead and add in a bunch more wind turbines and a couple more of these guys down here, because we were starting to run into some power problems. And I don't know why, because when we were running into the issues, we were generating like 60 megawatts of power, but now it says we're generating 272, which I guess is because these guys have updated or something. It doesn't really matter. The point being, we're generating a lot of power, and that's actually quite good for us, because that means that we're over halfway to generating 500 megawatts of power for the challenge, which is great. What's not great is that traffic is starting to back up a little bit over here. Now, the thing with that is that that's going to be down to the fact that we've added a lot of new housing to the city in the past, you know, half hour, however long the last episode was. So there's going to be a lot of new people moving in all at the same time. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world, but I would like to look into getting a new highway connection going. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all of this out over here, and you know what? I'm going to buy that tile. I'm buying that. I wasn't planning on buying that tile, but I'm buying it for a reason, because I want to do something. I want to go here, and I want to get this right here, this 3-lane highway viaduct, because I want to see what it looks like. That's, I mean, fair enough. It's no bridge, you know. It's not quite the bridge that was there before, but you know what? I'll take it. That's fine. Let's go ahead and put this this guy in here, because this is kind of what I'm looking for, assuming it connects, which it sort of does. I guess that'll work if I get rid of that guy and we just go ahead and put you there. I'm not really a huge fan of the base game intersection here. I might, oh God. The idea of building my own is terrifying is the thing, but I might have to do that. I really might have to do that and build my own intersections and stuff like that. But I really don't like the idea of doing that. I've tried building good looking intersections before, and it just ain't for me. It really isn't my kind of thing. I'm just not very good at it. So I'm slightly wary of the fact that I might need to do that, but we'll see what ends up happening. Let me go ahead and just sort of do like a little angle like this, so that we're sort of heading in the right direction towards the, you know, the intersection. And we'll do that. And then what we need to do is probably bring this guy forward a bit. So something a bit like that, and bring you forward a little bit too. And then hopefully get like just a nice little sort of thing going here. So something a bit like that, and something a bit like that. That's fine. That's not my prettiest work, is it? It's not my best work. I think we can all hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I'm making this look better because that was horrible. Okay? That was, no, I won't be accepting that. Ooh. I could accept that though. I guess that works. It's not quite just a straight shot through, but it'll do the job and hopefully do it well. Other than that, I'm thinking we're also going to do a little bit of this. We're going to bring this highway just in here a little bit. And you know what? I actually kind of like the idea of doing something a little bit different here. So let me do a section of highway there. Let me bring that over a little further to about there. That seems fine. And then let me go ahead and do this. And we're gonna try to bring this highway like into the city, right? That's my thinking, because if I could do that, that might be kind of useful later on. I'm not sure how useful it's going to be later on, but I feel like it could be at some point a useful thing to have, you know, highway access in the city itself. So we can do that. And then what we can do is look into the roundabout at this point, because we're going to do a roundabout on this like we did for the entrance to the city. Now, the way I did that is, well, it is what it is. Let's do, I think we did 14 if I remember right. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then we want to go to the midpoint, and that's going to be 7. And that's going to be 7. We just do a usual sort of thing with this. We'll use normal roads. We'll actually use these guys to do this for now, because these are nice, small little roads, and I can measure everything out nicely with it. So we do that. We then go and do this, and we do this. And I'm going to go through to the other side as well, because what we're going to do is we are going to have these avenues come out, you know, that way, and we're going to have them go that way, and that's great. But we're going to have the highway sort of continue straight over the roundabout, and that might be a bad idea. It probably is a bad idea, because it's going to cause all sorts of traffic problems, but it'll be fine, probably. Now, real question, real quick. What distance is this from the highway? Because I want these curves to be about right. So bring that back a little bit. Bring that out to 240 on that side and 240 on that side. Then we go 200, and we want to go 200 there. So we'll have something a bit like this, essentially. The game wouldn't let me curve these pieces going on to the roundabout kind of annoyingly. So we're kind of dealing with the fact that it's, you know, not curved. And it's also on a bit of a hit. I forgot to flatten it. I forgot to flatten the land for this, and I want to, because a roundabout on a hill looks stupid. I need to do all of that again. So there we go. We finally have things sort of laid out the way they should be. Let's go ahead and bring this avenue down towards the water. It annoyingly doesn't line up properly, which is just something we're kind of going to have to deal with. I guess that's just going to be the way of things, is it's not going to line up properly, but it's also not the end of the world that it doesn't line up properly. We'll probably change that up a little bit at some point as well, and we'll probably put another roundabout up there somewhere, or just have this this highway sort of terminate into the road, which actually, that probably wouldn't be the worst idea to do. So we could, at least for now, you know, bring this highway to, I don't know, say about there, right? That's 56. It's a lot of money to do that. It's a lot of money to do that. We'll bring it back. We'll have this guy sort of do, I don't know, like a 10 by 10. Is that going downhill? No, that's actually quite level at the minute. Should we raise it up? We should raise it up. We should put this up on the viaduct thing, because that's like the top of the hill there. So grab this guy, and, you know, we'll sort of go and do some kind of elevated thing. We'll bring the steps down a little bit. So you're going to go to about that height. And I want this to stay kind of as level as I can get it to stay, which is about there. And we'll kind of bring you over a little bit more and raise it, maybe lower it. We'll see if we can kind of level it out again, which that's pretty level there. And then we'll just turn it. So it's going to take like a 90-degree turn there, where it's kind of raising up a little bit, but I don't think I can do too much about that. And then what we'll do is go 10 and down, and then 10 and I don't have enough money down. And then we'll basically run this directly into there. And that's going to be a way sort of in off of the highway. And what we can do is kind of the same thing, with this guy over here, and I'm thinking I'm just going to connect it directly to this avenue. So that's kind of a way out. So you can get out of the city by going over this bridge and straight out onto the highway. Or maybe we'll not connect it directly to the avenue. That might be a bad idea. This might be a bad idea. That probably is a bad idea. Or maybe we will connect it to the avenue. I don't know. I'm going to connect it to the avenue. And I guess that is going to take a little bit of traffic away from everything, which is kind of cool. We've kind of got that going for us. We got this guy, which is an oil truck going out and doing his thing. We got these guys coming in. And I think what we can do here is maybe start looking at a bit of industry, because we do have demand for that. So if I come over here, I want to just build like a relatively basic industrial area. So we'll go, I don't know, 30 units that way. We'll build sort of industrial space that maybe comes up towards the highway or something. It doesn't need to be ridiculously complicated, but I do think having sort of a kind of a main road going down here isn't really going to hurt. So we'll do about that length is probably fine. And I think we'll go up here by another 10 and then down here about the same distance. And then I think we'll go like this. So we're going to have that going around everything, and that's fine. What I want to do, and the reason I'm doing it this way, is I want to go in here and sort of do this kind of thing. I want to go in and have, you know, these areas that are going to be, you know, even that's maybe a little bit too big. So, you know, something like that, right? A very, very small area. And then what we can do is another one on this side. And again, it's going to be these very, very kind of small little areas of industry that are going to be off of essentially off of the main roads, right? So there is going to be industry built on the main roads. There's just not necessarily going to be as much industry built on the main roads. I'm also thinking we can probably, you know, chop this up in interesting ways to get as much zoning in here as we possibly can. So, you know, that's something, I guess. This can kind of go away, and these guys can extend up to about there. That's a bit weird looking, so maybe, you know, that goes away. These guys extend up to there, you extend up to there. And it just means that industry is kind of, you know, it's going to be in here, it's just at different points of the road. And then we can kind of do the same thing, you know, down here a little bit. We can go like this. We could go like, let's see, what distance are you from that corner? 440. So 440 would be, I want to say like there. Yeah. So 440, we can bring you up to, you know, near the highway, and essentially just, you know, fill the area with all sorts of different industry, and just put generic buildings in here if we absolutely need to. But I think this will work, you know, just put some industry a little bit further away from everything. It's obviously kind of a main entrance to the city in its own right. So maybe some of this will get turned into a bit more of a, what do you call it? Like an office park or something at some point. But right now, I think just having it be industry is fine. I think that kind of works out. So you can go to about there, and maybe this guy gets extended to that side as well. So something a bit like that. And eventually that can have offices on it. And that way it doesn't look like a bunch of factories coming into the city. This side could be extended up to there. This guy can be extended up to there. And this guy can be extended to about there. And I think that's fine. So yeah, I think that's essentially what I want to do with this. Is I want to just put a bunch of generic industry in here so that we deal with that demand. And then we can also do public transport, because getting people over here is obviously going to be kind of important. So let's start with a network of pipes. I think that's probably a bit of a safe bet, you know, get these in here so people aren't going to be complaining about it a little bit later on. We'll do a nice just square of them right there. And in terms of getting pipes into everything, we'll do straight down the middle, and we'll go, what distance is that? 300. So 300 in pipes would be to there. And we'll do the same thing in that spot. And we'll do, let's see, 800 there. We'll do 800 there. And I guess we'll just go straight through the middle again. And that should cover absolutely everything, right? It does. Okay. So we can just bring you straight over to there, and that's water connected. That's sewage connected. I don't know if that's going to be enough to deal with everything, but we'll find out. And then in terms of actually doing things, well, we have a bit of money sitting by, so let's go with biofuel buses, since that feels to me like it kind of makes sense. Actually, in terms of power generation, geothermal can generate a lot of energy, and it's green energy too. So we should probably do a bit of geothermal in here. And then that will be contributing to the goal of the whole scenario, right? So let's do some geothermal. I like the idea of doing it right in the middle of everything. I do kind of like that idea. I like there. I like that that'll put it right in the road. So we're going to place you. And then around that, I want to just go ahead and do... Let's just do that big chunk of industry. And that will keep us sorted with that bit of demand. And I can also go ahead and put the biofuel bus depot, I guess, kind of in that same space. So it can live right there. And now we can do buses. So in terms of a bus network, I'm going to do something relatively simple just to start with. I'm going to do just a standard little kind of loop around absolutely everything that we have. So we'll have a bus that kind of starts down here and works its way across just about everything. So we'll have it stop there right in front of the boats. We'll have it stop kind of down, say, let's have it stop about there. We'll have it stop maybe there as well, maybe about there and about there. And I do think we could maybe afford to add a stop in that spot and that spot as well. So wait, that's a new one completely right there. So that'll be pretty good, I think. That should help people get around. And I think what we'll do is also the inverse of that. So we'll let the buses kind of go in the opposite direction as well. And I think it can skip the... It can probably skip there. I think that'll be safe enough to do. And yeah, we'll just bring it, you know, the whole way around everything, the way we did the first time, straight back to there. Although I'm thinking some stops here would be useful too. So that'll work out. And I'm also thinking that actually putting a stop in there is going to be good because there's a couple of high schools right there. So that'll be buses kind of looping around everything. And I think that's okay. And then what we could also do is a bus line that kind of goes up and down the middle here. So up to there, up to there. Maybe it loops around there as well. And I want it to come back. Because what we can do... with that one way kind of going the way it does loop in a weird way, but that can sort of shoot right up the middle of everything and hopefully help things out a little bit is what I'm thinking. I do wonder if putting a stop down here would be an idea. So that would have to, it would have to go that way. I think either way this thing goes, it has to sort of go in a weird direction unless we move the stops to there and there. Which I'm kind of okay with, because then I could, you know, put a stop, say, in that spot. And a stop in, say, that spot. Just to kind of spread it out a little bit. It'd be something a little bit different. I think that's okay. So that can kind of go up and down the middle. It loops around. It does its thing. We don't really have anyone waiting for buses there, unfortunately. We don't have too many people there. Or there. We don't really have... Oh, we have a good number of people there, though. And here too, and a good number here as well. So we do have people using the buses, just not as many as I'd necessarily like, but that's fine. Let's do another bus that kind of goes... I don't really want it to do... Oh, it's going in the wrong direction. Let's do another bus that kind of goes this way, sort of along that road. And then it can also, I guess, sort of come back in whatever way it's gonna come back. So something like that. And that'll work out, I think. So that should give us decent coverage for now. It's not the fanciest, but it'll be decent. And I think we could maybe do some buses that come over this way, because people are, that's, you know, having a lot of problems there. So let's do one that does just that. Let's have it start here. And then we'll run a bus line that comes into... Wait, why have I done that? Have I done it I did it on the wrong side again. We'll have it start here. right? So a bus line that starts there, it's going to come in and it's going to just sort of go around this area, you know, in the best way that it can. And then I want it to come back just like that. And that should be fine. So that'll give us a connection to that space. We are getting a lot of demand for residential zoning. So let's deal with that. Let's deal with the demand for residential zoning and get some stuff in here, because we can have people sort of living, you know, on the coast, I guess. Although I am going to redo that. I'm going to redo that. I'm going to put some trees on it because I think it'll look better. And it also fixes the weird zoning that was in there too, which I think we'll probably have here too. So we'll fix you. And we can sort of try to fix this as well. This one's not going to be perfect, but well, actually that worked out pretty well. So I'll go for it. Here as well, we can just sort of fix you by going to about there. And let's put some residential in here. Let's just go for it. I'm thinking I might take a similar idea to what I did with the industry, with sort of having that main road going around it. So let's do, let's not go too crazy, actually. Let's keep it reasonable. What distance are we looking at here? So this, so that's 30, right? So we'll do that and that, take you out because that was just measuring, and bring this guy up to, I guess about there's fine. Nothing too crazy. And basically just put some roads in here like this. This is because this is going to be high density eventually. So this way we can go ahead and actually have, you know, a good amount of, what's that, 960? So that would be there. This way we can go and, you know, have a good amount of buildings in here at some point that aren't going to look stupid. So we'll also go up to, well, I would like to, I'd actually like to extend that a little bit. So that goes to there, and then these guys can sort of do that and do that. That way we'll have buildings right along the highway as well. Now that is pretty boring. That's far from exciting, but it is going to give me, you know, plenty of room for high density zoning later on, and that's kind of what I want. So we're just going to paint this entire thing with that zoning right there. And I think what we can also do is paint down here and down here with commercial. That way we can put a path around this entire thing, and I think that'll be pretty cool. So let's get a little path in here so that people can kind of walk around between all of the different streets and all the different buildings. It can go down here, and it can go down like this as well. So again, this way people can, you know, walk around. Do I want them walking around the highway? No, I don't think we need that. But this, I think it looks fine. And we'll actually connect it down like this as well. Although we'll go from the bottom. That way the lights should all be lined up, which they are. And on this side, we go from the top, and the lights are all lined up, which they are. So that kind of works. It's pretty basic, but it should get us to a point where we can probably start looking at high density, which will be fantastic. And then from there, it's just a case of eventually getting more power, which will be easy enough, and just getting more people. So it's kind of smooth sailing at this point, essentially. Although power, I did mention power. That's kind of going to need to be a thing. So let's go to this corner, and let's go to that corner, and let's put a bit more industry in there, because what we can do is industry there and there. That's maybe a little bit close to the housing, but eventually that will be turned into offices, so it should be fine. But if we can bridge that gap, then we can get power for this. Otherwise, I mean, I guess I can just do this for now as well, and that'll give these guys power. So that'll keep them happy enough. We don't have buses going around this area, but that's just gonna be the way of it for now. But I think that kind of works out, you know? I think we have this extra entrance to the city, which will take hopefully a good amount of the traffic. I could also do districts as well. That's something I've not been doing now that I think about it. Old town policies and things like that. We could. Let's do a district here, because it's just hit me that I've not been doing these. So this is going to be 1. And it's going to go like this, right? So that's one district. This will be another. And I think my plan with this is that let's see, what way have I done this? So it goes that way. I've just got an achievement. I don't know what achievement I've just got, but I got some achievement for City Skylines that I've never had before. That's weird. I've been playing this game a long time. Getting achievements in it is weird. Okay, so we have 4 districts right here. We have Belmont Hills, we have Ivy District, we have Cozy Square, and Maple Park. What I want to do with those is go and say that they're going to have the Old Town policy, because that way traffic is going to be forced out onto the avenues. Now, I don't think there's too much in the way of traffic going through these districts, but at the same time, you could have industrial traffic, you know, taking this road through Cozy Square, this road through Smith City Park. Well, not the park through the district, but you get the idea. It just forces traffic onto the avenues. That's all. That's all I want to do. I want to see if it helps. I want to see if it makes things worse. I'm just curious, to be completely honest. I'm also curious about how many people are using the buses. 444. I'll take it. That's not that bad. Could be a lot worse. In terms of people over here using the buses, I mean, I would imagine people are using the buses to go over here rather than anything else. So I'm not going to worry too much about the buses not being used a lot there. I am going to put a bus stop here, though. And I'm going to put one there as well, because I imagine people in this area would probably be inclined to use those bus stops a little bit. And it looks like people are, yeah, going straight to them. So that's great. What we can also do, though, because I noticed that people are complaining about garbage, is just throw a bit of a recycling center out here. So we could do a couple of them back to back if we really wanted to, which I'm not really against doing. I think I'll just do one for now, right there behind the biofuel depot, and that'll be fine. So we got that going. We actually have this area full already, so it might not be a bad idea to go ahead and just fill up this entire space with residential, because we're so close to getting high density buildings that I think it might not be a bad idea. Although what I could also do, and I'm thinking I am going to do this, is this right here, so that we can have buildings right along that path. And then I'm going to do sort of similar. I might do similar there. That might be way too close to that highway junction, though. I don't know if I want to do this, but I think I will. And what distance is this? What price? 2940, and you are 2940. So those are now the same height. And what we can do is go, 20 there. We'll go. Wait, is that? Oh, that's not spaced out properly. We want to go 20 from there. We want to go 20 from here, and from here as well. And that'll give us a little bit of a weird space there, but that's okay. I'm going to do the same on this side as well. And then I'm going to alternate the roads going back and forth so that one goes further than the other. So this guy is going to go, what distance is that? 640. So let's go to there. Then you are going to go to there. You are going to go to there. And you are going to go to there. So we kind of have that zigzag thing going back and forth, which I think it'll look kind of interesting if we do some paths in there. So let's do it. So I think that looks pretty cool. We got some trees in there to make it look a little bit nicer. I'm kind of thinking I might go ahead and do a few more of these trees, though, just to make it look that little bit nicer and a little bit more like it just has more going on, which is not a bad thing. I think that looks okay. And I think, these trees can be a little overbearing, but I think once we get some buildings in there, that'll look okay. I don't think it's going to look like a problem once there's some, towers up around all of those trees. So let's just go ahead and do the same thing that we always do. Let's go ahead and put some commercial down here. Let's do some residential just up in there and up there as well. This gap down here, I mean, it could be, it could probably be commercial since it's going to be on an avenue. And I think that's probably fair enough. So let's do this and this. And let's just bring these guys out from each sort of end there as well. Because then we can do more stuff with trees. And I think that'll look pretty cool. So we'll just do 1. We'll do 2. We'll do 3. And I guess we could do one at the top as well. So something like that. Yeah, I don't think that hurts. I would like to put some zoning in up there, though, is kind of my thinking. Just maybe bringing this guy up to there, just to try and hide the fact that it is, you know, there is a gap there. So I think that's fine. And then I think we just do, well, this needs to go. But then we just do this. We just do blocks of commercial kind of with the trees in between. And I think that'll look kind of cool. We should probably also do some proper parks in here now that I think about it. So what if, what if we left like these two middle sections open and then did some parks in there? It's going to be weird with the paths alongside, but we could sort of do that. I don't think it would hurt. So, I mean, basically this entire kind of middle part is going to be the park. I know this is kind of silly to do that entire middle part as the park, but I can't really measure it properly. So we'll do that. And then we'll do sort of these extra entrances kind of all along there. And I'll just put some fences around it. So it is going to be separated from the regular paths, right? So it's going to be its own thing. It's just going to be having these fences around it. I don't think I need to do this, but I think it'll help make the area a little bit nicer. And it's building and complaining about power naturally, but I did do something a little interesting in there. I went ahead and just put some rocks and some plants around the bottom of this because the terrain was elevated because of this plaza. And I really like that. Just a little bit of detail to make it look a little bit nicer. And we've got, you know, everybody moving in here, doing their thing, complaining about not having pipes, which I totally forgot about, even though I think I said right at the top of the series, I wasn't going to forget about pipes, but here we are. I like it. I think that's a kind of really nice looking little area. And I think it'll look great once there's actually like skyscrapers in there. I think it's going to look so cool. I really do. I'm also thinking that this can probably be commercial along that highway. And we're probably going to regret putting houses directly next to the highways there as well, now that I really think about it. But it'll probably be fine. I mean, you know, what's the worst they're going to do? Complain about it? Get sick from noise pollution? Yeah, I mean, that is about what they're going to do. What they're also going to need is a hospital, because I've totally forgotten about that. So we can get that in just a little bit, because I think we are really close to 7,500 people, which is when we start getting high density stuff. And that's when things are going to get really interesting, because that's when I can go ahead and start putting in offices, and when I can put in towers and do all of that good stuff. It's going to be good. And there we go. 7,500 people gives us another tile. It gives us campus areas. It gives us IT clusters and high density zoning, which is what I'm very excited about. So I was about to put in some offices, but then I remembered that people kind of need to be educated. How are we doing with education? Elementary schools are struggling. High schools are doing fine. So that's good. We're gonna need more elementary schools though. So let's do one there. And let's do another one there. And let's do another high school right in here as well. You know, I think that might be an idea. Just a high school kind of right there. You guys are parked, right? Yeah, you are. So a high school right there. I'm going to take the zoning off the road sort of around it. And I'm going to just put some trees around it to make it look, you know, sort of, I guess, you know, like it belongs there is the word I'm looking for. So bulldoze that guy. And we'll do 5 trees down that side. We'll do 5 sort of down this side as well. We'll do a couple sort of going across the back of the place, just again to make it look like it sort of belongs there. And that'll be pretty good for us. So that'll give education to this area. We have done nothing in terms of services. So I want to give them a hospital. And I'm thinking, can I fit a hospital right in the middle there? Oh, I can. It fits perfectly at the end of my parks. That's pretty cool looking, actually. I like that a lot. So that's kind of perfect. I'm also realizing I don't want zoning in those spaces, and I don't want zoning in those spaces either, because I had trees in there that were part of the design. So there we go. We got a hospital in there, which is pretty big news. And then we need fire coverage. So let's do a proper fire station up here in the industrial area, since that's kind of probably a pretty good idea. So we'll do one right there, and that will give pretty good fire coverage to most of this area. We could do another one sort of right up here, just to give a bit of extra coverage. And we could do one down here, but I'm going to do a little small one down here, just to cover that corner, because we're mostly okay in that lower area at the moment. And then policing. Policing is kind of the big thing. So let's do a police station right at the end of that road. I think that'll be kind of interesting. That'll keep everybody happy. That's everything sorted for that area. Let's go ahead and start putting some high density stuff in here, because it's going to look really good. We're going to strip out just everything along that waterfront, and I'm just going to do high density commercial. And then what I'm going to do as well is let's go ahead and strip out, I guess, all of this residential here and replace it with high density. All of this residential here, replace it with high density. And it's almost very tempting to bring this park down through here, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to put some residential down here as well. And I think that'll be pretty good. I'm kind of excited about this. I've got to be honest. I'm excited that we're finally starting to see high density stuff pop up. This is going to be good. This is going to be really good. And I guess that's going to be it for today. I feel like I did a lot. I feel like I got a little bit carried away, and that this has wound up being a longer episode than it should have been. So I'm not going to just drag things out here at the end. I'm going to keep it short and simple and say thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, like the video. If you're new around here, do consider subscribing. But most importantly, it has been my absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.